Welcome into the End the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development. Opening week of the Saratoga meet, and we're going to take a look at the Saturday late pick 4, which includes the Grade 1 Diana, the 9th race on their card, 9th of 11, and the pick 4 will start in the 8th. So, Jim, let's just jump into the stake. The Diana's at 1 mile and an 1/8 on the turf. You got 3 Chad Browns in there and a fairly small field, so not a race to pay the mortgage with or pay off a house with, but who do you like?
You underestimated him. He's actually got 4.
Oh,
4 out of 6.
Oh, my goodness.
Chad Brown.
Yeah.
Homerique is also Chad Brown. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go with Chad Brown this race. Rushing Fall and Sister Charlie, the only separation I can make in those two is that Rushing Fall has had 2 really good wins this year, the Jenny Wiley at Keeneland and the Just a Game on Belmont Day. She is, to me, the best filly in training right now, turf filly, and she's a neck away from being 9 for 9, and she's one of my favorite horses because she's won 4 graded stakes at Keeneland. So I can't not use her, but I can't not use Sister Charlie. So when we get to pick 4, it's going to be those 2. Sister Charlie hasn't run since the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf. Doesn't usually concern me with a turf horse, but that's a long layoff. That's 8 months. So I don't think she's going to be fully cranked here, even though it's a Grade 1, and even though she won it last year. Last year she won it off a 6-week layoff. She won the New York on Belmont Day last year, and or got second. Actually, didn't win it. 4-star Crook beat her. She's 3 for 3 since then. She's got 3 Grade 1s in her pocket, 4 Grade 1s in her pocket, and she's all that and more. So get to pick 4. I can't choose a winner here. If you told me to place $10 on somebody's nose, it would certainly be on Rushing Fall because I don't bet against her. But could use both of them and pick 4. Homerique might slip up on the outside. I mean, she's 2 for 2 in the U.S. after running in France until Chad got her in May, and then she's done everything he's asked her to do, but she just barely won. She won by a half a length and a neck. 2 Grade 3 and Grade 2, so she's stepping up. I don't think she's ready for Sister Charlie and Rushing Fall, so that's going to be my 2 picks here. Rushing Fall, the 2 horse to win.
I ended up the same way, looking at it the same way. I mean, they're on the inner turf course, and that's the sharp returns, and so I think Rushing Fall's speed is a big plus there. She's ran at 1 mile last time, but she's 2 for 2 at 1 mile and an 1/8, and it looks like she's better this year as a 4-year-old than she was as a 3-year-old by numbers, and the last was her best. So I can't really pick against her. Can't find a whole lot of value here, even in the gimmicks, unless you can maybe do something with a double or a horizontal wager. Sister Charlie would be my next pick, and then Homerique. So kind of look. I'm going to use all 3 of those in the pick 4, but if I had to do a win pick, it would be Rushing Fall as well. Now the pick 4 does start in the 8th race. You've got a maiden turf sprint at 5.5 furlongs for fillies and mares. Then you've got the Diana, and then you've got a non-winners of 1 allowance at 7 furlongs and a $25,000 claimer with a 1 mile turf distance there. So take us through your pick 4.
Okay, pick 4, the first race is a maiden special on 5.5 furlongs on the turf, and when I was reading up on Saratoga, there's an interesting stat that I saw that the inside 3 posts do not do well in 5.5 furlong turf sprints, and that's an interesting statistic for me, that the outside do better. The inside do okay on the longers, but the inside is not necessarily the place to be in the turf races, the short ones. But I'm going to use the Chad Brown, the two Tannin Tight, Ortiz and Chad Brown. You certainly cannot leave them off the first leg of a pick 4. I'm also going to use Miss You Blues, the 5 horse, for Charlton Baker, a very underrated trainer who trains at a 20% rate, and Les Cano takes the ride there. This horse has got 3 turf races under her belt, so I think she fits very well here. The 6 horse Peaceful, a second-time starter for Jonathan Thomas with Castellano, is probably going to be the favorite off that maiden special weight effort at 5.5 furlongs at Monmouth. And then the first wave, the 7 for Rusty Arnold, who debuted at Churchill at 3-1. Had a lot of steam that day. A lot of good works at Keeneland since then. Got rained off the turf first time out, but still ran a 73 buyer coming from the outside hole. So the first wave is very live here. So I'm going to go 2, 5, 6, 7 in the first leg. only standing with a 2-4 in the Diana, Rushing Fall and Sister Charlie. And in the 10th race, obviously going to be looking for a price in the last couple because there may not be a price in the first two, but I really couldn't see it in the 10th. But it looks like to me that Payne, the 5-horse, is going to be a huge favorite here for, again, Chad Brown. He seems to be a broken record every time we go to Saratoga, but this horse has been very consistent. Got beat by Rowayton last time out, and ran against Quip in his debut back in September 17. So this horse has been up against some really good competition. 94 buyer last out, going to be a big favorite. I am going to go ahead and throw Hirsch in there, who ran behind this horse last time out. Went off at 4-1 against him and had brushed the gate coming out and never really got in the race, so I'm going to give him another shot. So I'm going 5-8, 2 horses again there in the third leg. And I got plenty of money for the 11th. The 11th is an intriguing race. Prognostication, the 7-horse. Chad Brown drops this horse from Allowance Company, where he wasn't competitive last time out, but 2 times back on a yielding turf course, he ran second at Belmont. I don't know why they're giving him away for $25,000, but so that raises huge flags there. If he wasn't dropping so far, I would use him with only a few. The 11, the Battle of Blenheim, is probably the most consistent horse in here for Todd Pletcher and Luis Saez. I'm going to go ahead and hit the all button here, hoping to catch a price, because chances are you're going to be chalky. If you're alive, you're not going to have a huge price till now. So I hit the all button for $88, and you cut it down as much as you want here. But if you get past the first two, it's hard to toss any. So my pick 4 ticket, 2, 5, 6, 7 with 2, 4 with 5, 8 with all for $88.
First leg for me is going to be 2, 3, 6, 7. I like Peaceful off a really strong debut, and Jonathan Thomas does well with his second-time starters. The 7 First Wave for Rusty Arnold, I thought certainly was a viable play. 3 I'm throwing in just on the Graham Motion angle, first-time starter there. And then Tan and Tight for Chad Brown, mainly just on the connection. So 2, 3, 6, 7. I'm going to use the 3 Chad Browns, 2, 4, 6 in the 9th. 10th race, I think Payne's certainly the one to beat. I'm going to try to beat him with Where Paradise Lay. Comes out of a key race in April at Keeneland. Came back, ran well, and then had a poor start last time that might have compromised his chances. And very consistent in those previous 4. And I think if you can forgive the last race, which you can because of the start, I believe, then I think he's got a shot in here, and you'll get certainly a better price than you're going to get on Payne. I like Uber Kirk and Ruler of the Nile, too, because they have 3 and 4 wins, respectively, and a non-winners of one other than. But I couldn't find a single anywhere, so I couldn't go justify going that expensive on a ticket that probably won't pay a lot in the pick 4 by using those 2. The 10th or the 11th race, I didn't have a strong opinion. I like Derby Champagne, who runs well at Saratoga and is dropping in class. Patriot Drives won 2 in a row. Shalaco's got 2 of 3 at Saratoga. I am very leery of prognostication, so I'm going to stop with just those 3. So I'm going to be 2, 3, 6, 7 with 2, 4, 6 with 2, 5 with 2, 4, 8, and that's a $36 ticket. It's I think probably my thinking is I'll just play this conservatively because I don't think it's going to pay a ton. And if you want to add those other 2 that I mentioned in the 10th race, that would double the price of the ticket up to $72. But I'm going to just stick with a 50-cent ticket that would cost $36 of 4x3 by 2 by 3. Exciting time of year, though. You've got Del Mar starting next week. Ellis has a stronger meet than they've had in years, and so it's some great racing starting right now, right?
Yeah, and Arlington Park has on Saturday the Arlington Million Preview Day.
Good point.
They've got, I think, four stakes races. They're basically their second best day of the meet. They got some big fields. They've already been drawn. They've got some 10 and 11 horse fields. So Arlington's good racing this weekend. Del Mar starts next Wednesday.
I should throw at the Indiana Derby card is up at Indiana Grand on Saturday night.
Yeah, and we got a kind of a local horse there. I don't know if you follow him or not, but there's a horse that's owned by Brilliant Racing out of Escondera called Eskin for it. And
yes.
They call him, they have a nickname for him, and really a cool partnership with Joe Christofek and some other guys that are involved with that, with Brilliant Racing, and the horse won a race out at Churchill, kind of unexpectedly last out, and they said, why not take a shot at the Indiana Derby? They're hoping to run third or fourth there and pick up $50,000 for the partnership. Mr. Money's going to run, going to be a big favorite, but it's wide open past him. So hopefully, they called the horse Kenny. Asking for it, and his name is Kenny. So it's a pretty cool story if you follow Brilliant Racing. It's a new partnership with some guys that we know at Churchill. That's pretty cool. So Indiana Derby is Saturday. So yeah, there's no slow days from now through Labor Day. You're going to have big races every weekend.
Sounds good. It's a great time to be a racing fan, certainly. So keep your Keeneland Select accounts fully funded. We'll be back next week for another edition of the In the Money podcast. For KeenelandSelect.com.